Time again for this week's take on the news from the left and from the right and center with award-winning journalist Karen Hunter and Sirius XM radio talk show host David Webb. They're sitting right next to each other, so you promise to be on your best behavior?
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
Just debate, don't fight, okay?
He already put his finger out. So
I know, the camera should have been rolling during that. They're like, no, stop.
Yeah, the off-camera stuff's the more
Here's
fun
the
stuff.
line right here.
All right.
Okay, so let's get started. I want to start off with a vote that's going to happen tomorrow at the National Convention of the Boy Scouts of America. They are voting to repeal the ban of actively gay members, both as Boy Scouts and leaders. I mean, it's 2013. Shouldn't the Boy Scouts let everybody in?
Well, it should be their choice, a private organization that has a foundation in Catholicism, in their case predominantly, but in the Christian doctrine. Whether they do or not is up to them. Whether any corporation or someone that has a religious doctrine as their basis does that should be up to them. What I didn't like about this whole debate was an agenda trying to force a private organization to act a certain way.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. We don't know who's gay anyway, right? So
But that's not the point.
But it is the point, David, because we're in 2013 where people should live their lives. The Boy Scout is founded on this sense of honor and honesty. If people can't be who they are,
But they were
then
also
what's the
founded on a religious doctrine. And,
and we're talking about the Catholic Church with religious doctrine and homosexuality,
well,
really?
You can insult all you want, but the fact is that as an organization, the church has a belief system, and if you're going to respect the rights of gays, if you will, then you should also respect the rights of the religious organization. America is based on that respect and that free speech and free exercise.
Well, when
Therefore,
hypocrisy reigns, I think it's time for us to take the veil off and keep it real.
Isn't it hypocritical to tell someone their beliefs are wrong?
Well, it's hypocritical to tell someone that they should not live their full life and they should not represent
No one was telling them their full life. Look, here's the problem we're missing in this. The agenda becomes more important than the rights of the organization. Agreement aside, whether agreement or disagreement, if you are a church and you have a belief and we have religious freedom, Muslim or otherwise, should we then force Muslim organizations to accept gays?
Well, you're going to accept them anyway.
My
point is they're just going to hide who they are and do the thing that they love to do, which is to make fires and marshmallow
then I'll tell you
s'mores,
what,
right?
When you start forcing Muslim organizations to accept gays openly, then we'll see how that plays out. This is about freedom, and I'm not talking about agreement or disagreement, but the right to, under the Constitution, to have your religious expression be yours. It's a good move for them, I think, in the long run, because society's advanced. They've decided to go wider, but it's up to them.
What's your prediction? What do you predict the vote will be?
I think they're going to repeal it. And as someone who got kicked out of the Brownies, I have a low level of respect for these organizations anyway.
You're working through issues.
Yes, I am. I need counseling. I do.
And so you think they'll repeal the ban? Do you think they will as well?
I don't know where that will go. We'll have to wait for the vote.
It'll be interesting. The vote's tomorrow, so presumably we'll find out tomorrow.
I'm going to pray for them.
Okay, so let's move on, of course, to this never-ending IRS scandal.
We're back with that. You're trying to get me audited. I already see. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, no, you have to say something. Well, come on. Now, let's see, where do we even jump off from? Where do we jump off from? Where is the smoking gun? Who's this going to blow back on?
I don't know if anybody can tell that yet, and that's why I say follow the evidence where it leads. Steve Miller, in testimony yesterday in the Senate, continues to block as much. Lois Lerner will plead the fifth today because she likely faces criminal charges. There are criminal activities in the release of information to ProPublica before those groups were processed. That's a violation of federal law. On top of that, the larger issue of what's going on within the IRS, this is not a low-level issue. Steve Miller said in testimony when asked by Congressman Mike Kelly, who asked him if it's Cincinnati or does it go to Washington, one-word answer, he said yes. Therefore, this goes to the head of the IRS.
This is going to be a rallying point for the Tea Party. Obviously, they had a march yesterday. They're going to continue to do this. It's going to help a lot of members get elected to Congress as they try to regulate and change the laws to put more restrictions on the IRS. I think it's going to really help politically the Republicans and the Tea Party, and it's not going to at all affect President Barack Obama.
Well, the only person who's brought up actually new laws is President Obama. No one on the conservative side that says we need more laws. What they have said is that we need to clean up the IRS, root out this problem, and fix the issues. This is systemic.
We're all happy about that, so we can agree on that. That needs to happen.
There's a systemic problem. We agree on that.
There's a systemic problem. We got like a minute left.
No.
Let's quickly talk about the president's handling of the U.S. involvement in the civil war in Syria. He has been very measured, very slow, hung back. Now it only continues to escalate. Is this a good idea on his part, or is he making a mistake?
Well, there have been so many faux pas. We just saw Benghazi, the fallout from that, and not doing enough, not really getting involved when we should have. So I guess he's a little gun shy, and I can't really blame him because everything he does, someone's going to say something about it, right, David?
Here's the reality. Syria is a lose-lose in many ways. Russia just sold S-300 missiles to Syria. That changes the dynamic, makes it more unstable, and also that they cannot protect them and they don't have the structure. So do Russian troops move in. Syria is a lose-lose proposition, and we don't want another war, but we do need to do something if possible, and I don't think a no-fly zone is enough. I just don't see us going in there.
I smell drone attacks. Okay.
Probably so. And write it down, everybody. Hunter and Webb agreed on this.
That's because we're smart.
Let's make a record of that, because that doesn't happen very often. Karen Hunter, David Webb. Always good to see you.
Debbie.
See you again next week.
Okay.